right now, guys. I'm sorry. After we get our lead wire glued in, I like to use, for this fly, I like to use peacock herl. Natural materials whenever I can, although the rest of the fly is synthetic. Peacock herl just has a shimmer to it. You know, I know the OGs tie Griffith's gnats with it and everything else, but there's something kind of cool about peacock herl. So let's tie in, take 3 strands of peacock herl. And this is going to double not only as the tail of the fly, but also as the shell back of the fly. So I'm going to take about, give yourself plenty of time to work with this. Give yourself about a small hook shank. And where I want the tie-in point, if you notice, right as this curved check nymph hook starts to go in the upright vertical position, I'm going to latch this material down all the way down to where it turns vertical. And that will give me a nice even tail. So I like to lay this on the top of the hook shank, take 1 loose wrap, and then cinch it down tight. That'll help you get control of the material. We can tie a little bit up here. Wind toward the bead when you're cinching this material down. Just wind it up about halfway up the lead wraps. And I'm going to take a gratuitous shot of my Trogs Haze Charmer, thanks to all of our friends down in Hershey, keeping us hydrated during these times of need. So I'll let everybody tie in those peacock herls. Boss man, hey Nielsen, all right. Who else? Anybody out there I know? Brendan, I can see you. Oh my goodness. All right. So once you've tied down that peacock herl, fold it back on the top of the hook shank. And now let's wrap this down to where that vertical portion of the hook was that I was talking about. So I'm going to continue wrapping down. Almost just in front of where it goes vertical. Okay? And then let's just clean up that. I'll let you guys catch up here. I'm going to go down just before it turns vertical. Can you guys see that all right over there? Everybody see that aside from my sketchy beard there on the... I'm going to put that in my material clamp right there. Show you that like that. So you can see where that's at, okay? Anybody out there fishing lately? While I'm showing this, letting people wrap this peacock herl in. Let's see who's fishing. If you're out fishing, give me a fishing report. I haven't fished in 2 or 3 days. Ah, Harry. Amy, you're still trying to get the beat on. I love you too, Jake. So does Ben. All right. Oh boy. The boss man logged in. Tony Gaiman. Hey, what's up, boss? Now my hands are going to get shaky. I better take some more Haze Charmer. Okay. Now, you've got your peacock herl at this point, or we're getting close. Maybe Amy has her thread wrap started yet, but I'll slow down just a little bit. Let's talk about medium olive ultra wire. Wow, a lot to talk about there. You could tie this fly without ultra wire or without any type of ribbing, or you could just use thread, I guess. But I like to catch 592 trout per fly. So I'm going to make this thing durable. So our ribbing is going to be medium ultra wire in olive. And this, it adds more weight to make it sink like a rock, but this really ties the room together. I mean, the fly together, sorry. Little Big Lebowski reference. It'll be used at the end, but we're going to use this medium ultra wire, olive colored ultra wire. We're going to tie this in on the side closest to you. So tie it in on your side if you're tying at home with me. Measure about enough to get you up to that bead. I'm actually going to place the ultra wire right in the bead. And then I'm just going to take some loose wraps here. It doesn't matter if it rolls over. I like to keep it on my side. I'm just gonna tie in my wire, and I'm gonna wrap this all. We're getting down to brass tacks now. So if you want to create taper in your fly, you can go ahead and start building up taper with the heavier part of the taper toward the bead, and you're gonna skin it down nice and skinny back there at that tail tie-in point. So. All right. So I've got a nice, pretty svelte looking fly at this moment. That extra lead up front gives me lots of big, bulky, big juicy caddis. So I'll let everybody at home tie in and get your taper going nicely. I'll show you that just real quick. So you can take a look you see how I have that pretty skinny at the tail tie-in point, and gets a little broader or a little wider up near the bead. So there we go. All right. While you guys are building your taper, I'm gonna go get another trusty beverage. I'm sorry, guys. It's the first one of Friday Night Live. I'm used to brewing bugs where we take frequent breaks and safety tying breaks. So I'll take another haze charmer. There we go. Gratuitous product placement. There we go. Okay. So everyone by now has that perfect taper. Let's go to the first dubbing that we're going to use. Will be Senyo's Laser Dub in light olive. If you want to get sneaky here, you can use light olive, regular olive, brown, tan, even black. Those are primarily the 4 or 5 most popular colors that we tie this fly in. Olive, light olive, olive, brown, tan, and black. Oh, I'm being told right now not to burp on the camera. I'm sorry, guys. Whoops. And I like to, for my dubbing, I like to make my dubbing kind of tight on the body. When you're flipping over rocks in the creek and you're looking at actual caddis larvae, they're skinnier than most flies that we normally tie out there in the real world situation. So I think most fly tiers put too much dubbing on, and your fly looks great. It looks big and juicy. It looks like a mop fly. Oh, great. Well, sometimes selective trout want something that looks a little more realistic. It's why I guess Perdigon nymphs and thread-bodied Frenchies have really taken off. I mean, people are tying basically just real skinny stuff, and it's working. So I would recommend putting that dubbing on, really twisting your thumb and your forefinger, really pinching that dubbing on kind of tight, so we don't make it too furry or too juicy. So, Harry, we miss you too. And Lenny's in the house. All right. You can see Lenny next week. I think he made a commitment to tying next week. So that's cool. Lenny will be on next week. We hope to start Friday Night Live with everybody. So, all right. So I've got my laser dubbed on pretty tight. If it starts fraying out on you, just continue to pinch that nice and tight. You've already built your taper into the fly with your thread. So you see there, I'm gonna really pinch down between my thumb and my forefinger. And I'm gonna get a nice dubbed body. As you can see, I came up a little short on my dubbing. So before I run that out, you notice I left a little bit, as I know I'm gonna get short. I don't like to try to use up all my dubbing and then try to add, because you never get the right amount. So I'm going to marry up the old section of dubbing with the new that I had to add there. Okay? That provides a smooth transition on dubbing. And I'm going to wrap this just up to right about the head of the fly. But then I'm going to move back an entire bead length, like the thickness of this bead here. I'm going to move back with my thread, so I'm right on the thickness of the bead. Okay? You'll see why later, because we still have a head colored dubbing to put on there. 6174 tire, first time here. Welcome, man. Or woman, thank you. Okay. If everyone has their dubbing on, I think we're going way too fast. I think we should all take a brief moment with our favorite beverage and here, cheers. There we go. Cheers.
Cheers.
You know, this whole stay-at-home thing is wearing on everybody when my wife volunteers to be the video woman for a fly tying tutorial. So, all right. Hopefully by now, you've got that nice Senyo's laser dub wound up nice and tight. Let's take that peacock curl that we forgot about, and I'm going to grab, if you'll notice, I'm going to rotate the fly. I still have some left over in the tail. Let that portion alone. But let's grab the peacock curl, the long stretch of peacock curl. Oh, I just fell off the front there when I showed you guys that. All right. Let's take... What you laughing at? Hey, Fraser Moreland from Utah, the great state of Utah. All right, back to tying. Let's take this peacock curl. This is going to go straight up the top of the hook shank. Okay, so I'm going to start positioning this, and now I'm going to take my medium olive ultra wire, and this is going to not only wrap and give durability, but it's going to hold down. Sorry, you don't want to see my fingers. It's going to hold down this back on this caddis. So if you'll notice, I'm going to wrap slowly. And I'm just going to focus on keeping this peacock curl on the top of the hook shank. It takes some getting used to, but, you know, after 2 or 3 of them, you'll get it. So, I don't know, something weird about more than 6 wraps of wire freaks me out. So once I get up to the head of the fly, I'm going to grab everything with my right hand. I'm going to pull it tight, and I'm just going to tie everything off. Okay, at that point, let's separate the ultra wire from the peacock curl. Now we're going to get rid of these one at a time. Once I've sufficiently tied down my peacock curl, I'm going to reach in with my forefinger and my thumb, and using my thumbnail, press my fingers together and break those off. Save that peacock curl, by the way. Save all this, because you can get another fly out of it. Wait, the boss man's here. Throw it away. Buy more at tcoflyfishing.com. Now, you still have, right here, you still have that ultra wire. Oh, I just realized some of my back, okay, it looks all right. This is something you can do. I like to wrap behind my ultra wire and in front of it. And I also like to helicopter around it twice to secure it, or two or three times. That just prevents this wire from slipping out and pissing you off. I'm sorry, and making you mad. Because when your wire comes out, the whole fly falls apart. Now, I like to reach in there with my left hand, with my thumbnail. Let's helicopter that wire. There we go. Yo, if anybody has questions, do I ever move the front peacock curl down like legs? This one dies with the PT. Hey, fly tie in. Yeah, that's a good question, man. I don't put them down like legs, like a PT nymph. That's a great question. I don't, just because it adds another step when when you're guiding and you're trying to tie 350 of these an hour. I'm sure you could, but the peacock curl kind of gets frumpy, so I don't know how good a legs it would be. If it were individual pheasant tail fibers, I think that would be a good call, maybe. And please experiment with it. Use the tail and the back as with pheasant tail fibers, and let me know how that works. Minus the peacock curl, we use that fly as a basic sow bug. Yeah, on the Little Red in Arkansas. Nice, Jake Claire 03. All right. I just realized that the camera woman is getting way more comments than I am. This is awesome. Okay. Now, everybody has that peacock curl wrapped up by now, right? So, at this point, yeah, Harry, tie it in a 16 or an 18 and let me know what you think, Harry. What's up, Clem? For the head, we're going to use Cohen's Carp Dub in Rainforest Green, with one caveat, because, all fly tyers have to put their own spin on it. I'm going to take out all of the rubber fibers in Cohen's Carp Dub. So here's Carp Dub, Cohen's Carp Dub with the rubber fibers. Here's the special version for the Friday Night Live caddis larva, minus the rubber fibers. If you can see that on camera, I'll be amazed. Okay, so by the way, this is enough to do about 15 of them. All right, so I'm going to take this Cohen's Carp Dub for the head. In an effort to build the profile up just a little bit more in the taper, I'm not going to dub the Cohen's Carp Dub as tight as I dubbed the body. Okay, so I'm going to dub this rather loosely, because I want some of these fibers to go to flare out a little bit. So not quite as tight and not as succinct as the olive that I did. That's way too much. Old rookie mistake there. There we go. So, dub just 2 or 3 wraps of Rainforest Green Cohen Carp Dub. I have to thank my friend Whitetail Design Company for turning me on to this. I would have never used Rainforest Green as a head on this fly, but it works. We stuck with all green. So once I have that dubbed in, I'm going to fold the fibers back like this, and I'm going to finish off my fly. Now's a good time to break out your whip finisher if you have it. Thanks to the OGs back in the fly shop back in the day when I was learning how to tie, I don't know how to use a whip finisher, so I'm just going to half hitch with my fingers, thanks to Gene Utech. I'm going to put a couple half hitches in there. We're on the home stretch, guys. Put your half hitches in. Trim your thread. Now you can get your hard as nails or whatever you want. I'm going to use the Loon UV finish in thin. Just a drop, not too much. But we are building the indestructible bottom dredger nymph, so I'm going to make sure it stays together here. And now, when we're fancy, we have the big UV torches at the shop. I'm using just a little one here at the house, shielding you guys from the light. UV cure. Now I'd like to probably take a brief minute, pause, think about it. Now I reach in there with my dubbing brush. Here's the key. I'm going to tease out just the rainforest green, but I'm not going to touch my body of that fly. I'm just going to tease out some of those fibers. I'm going to take them back. I don't want to make a lot of cuts, but I'm going to cut individual fibers just because I'm crazy like that. And that, my friends, is your completed Friday Night Live